Hello, dear students. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to a new lecture. In this lecture, we're starting with a new theme. It's the fourth unit, Expressing Feelings, the first lesson on being 17, bright and unable to read. So reading and comprehension is this workshop. So as an introduction to this theme, what I want you to do is visit this link here, the first link. Now I can't play this link or this video mainly now in my recording for credibility purposes on YouTube. So I want you to go to the PDF file and visit this YouTube video, the first one. These are optional, additional. I recommend you watch them, but mainly watch this one. What is this video about? There is a female woman who's talking about her own learning disability, her own experience. So she's sharing her feelings, she's expressing her feelings. So this video would be an introduction, first to the theme and second to the reading lesson. Now, before we start our reading lesson, we have some vocabulary words that may be new to you. We're going to find the meaning of these vocabulary words from the context. So the first vocabulary word is substitute. I have the word in a sentence. I need to try to find its meaning from the context because this is how we get asked about vocabulary words in a test. So you can substitute oil for butter while preparing a cake. So instead of using butter, you can use oil. So you're substituting butter by oil. So you're replacing butter by oil. So substitute means to replace. And that's how I understand or I figure out the meaning of this vocabulary word. The second word is encouraging. A few encouraging words might provide the support a person needs. So also from the context, I'm encouraging someone, giving that person support, motivating. Third word, embarrassing. It's very embarrassing for the broadcaster to forget his dialogue. So that person is a broadcaster. He needs or she needs the dialogue. So it would be really embarrassing to forget that dialogue. So embarrassing, shameful. And the fourth word is dumb, means in the sentence, don't ask dumb questions, please. Dumb, like silly, crazy, nonsense. Vocabulary word number 5, it's awful. For example, we didn't enjoy the trip because the weather was awful, was terrible. Okay, it was really bad. So instead of saying it's really bad, extremely bad, I say it's awful, it's terrible. And the sixth vocabulary word is moaning. For example, the workers were all moaning about the amount of work they had. So they were complaining about the amount of work they had. Here are the meanings for these words. Substitute is a noun, means a person or a thing acting or serving in place of another, so replacing the place of another. Encouraging is an adjective. It means giving someone support or confidence or being supportive. Embarrassing is also an adjective. It means causing embarrassment, shaming, or humiliating. Dumb means temporarily unable or unwilling to speak or stupid. Awful, very bad, unpleasant, disgusting, terrible, or these are synonyms. Moaning, make a long, low sound expressing physical or mental suffering, okay, or complaining mainly, to show complaint. Now, what's the genre for this lesson? It's personal narrative. As I told you, you must have watched the video before. So in that video, you must have seen a real person, telling her own story, her personal story. So that's why the genre is a personal narrative. We're telling a story, which is a narrative, and it's personal, about her own personal life. What are the key features? So in a text, how do I know what are the features that show me this genre is personal narrative? So if in a test you get a reading lesson, what features do you look for to know that this genre is a personal narrative? First of all, a personal narrative tells a true story from the writer's life. So the writer of this text is also the author, narrator, and the character in this story. So that person is telling his or her own personal experience. Second, it uses I the pronoun I, first person pronoun. So it's written from the first person point of view. So always in a personal narrative text, the point of view would be first person point of view. Third, it expresses the writer's thoughts and feelings. So that writer or that narrator of his or her personal story would be sharing how he or she thinks and feels. And fourth, it develops the experience of that person with narrative techniques, such as the dialogue, what that person said. When I'm telling you a personal story, I tell you, oh, I said this, or they said that. So that's a dialogue, a conversation between one and one, or more than one person. And description, that person telling the story would be describing, I felt that way, for example. And fifth and last, it begins with an interesting lead and gives a sense of closure at the end. So if I'm telling you a personal story, then there should be a closure. So what would you conclude? What's the moral? Why am I telling you this story? That's the closure at the end. What do you understand, or what have you learned from this story? And that's the question you need to ask yourself at the end after reading this lesson. And also you must have asked yourself this question after watching that video. Let's start with the reading. As you can see here, there's someone hopeless here, having some paper, some book in front of him, and he's pessimistic, clearly, not motivated at all, saying, I have dyslexia, okay, and I can't spell the words. So clearly, you can understand that someone who has dyslexia is someone who cannot spell the words, cannot read. And I will tell you at the end of this text exactly what's the problem with people with dyslexia. So let's start with the reading. Paragraph number 1. One day, a substitute teacher, we said what a substitute means, the word substitute means to replace, a teacher replacing another teacher. So one day, a substitute teacher picked me to read aloud from the textbook. When I told her no, thank you, she came mad. She thought I was acting smart and told me so. I kept calm and then got her madder and madder because he was calm. We must have spent 10 minutes trying to solve the problem. And finally, she got so red in the face that I thought she would blow up. She told me she would see me after class. Maybe someone like me was a new thing for that teacher, but she wasn't new to me. I've been through scenes like that all life. You see, even though I'm 17 and a junior in high school, I can't read because I have dyslexia. So someone who has dyslexia is someone who cannot read. I'm told I read at a 4th grade level, but from where I sit, that's not reading. You can't know what that means unless you've been there. So you cannot know how it feels to have dyslexia unless you've been in his place. That's what he's saying. You cannot feel what I'm feeling. It's not easy to tell how it feels when you can't read your homework assignments or the newspaper or a menu in a restaurant or even notes from your own friends. So as you can see so far, in a narrative nonfiction, he's narrating his own experiences and sharing his feelings. Paragraph 3. Sometimes the teachers would try to be encouraging. When I couldn't read the words on the board, they would say, come on, David, you know that word. Only I didn't, and it was embarrassing. I felt dumb, and dumb was how the kids treated me. They would make fun of me every chance they got, asking me to spell cat or something like that. Even if I knew how to spell it, I wouldn't. They would only give me another word. Anyway, it was awful because more than anything, I wanted friends. On my birthday, when I blew out the candles, I did not wish I could learn to read. What I wished for was that the kids would like me. With bad reports coming from school and with moaning about wanting to die and how everybody hated me, my parents began looking for help. So far, he's sharing not only his experiences, like with the teacher, not understanding him, having a problem with him, arguing with him why he can't read or he doesn't want to read, and how he's feeling because his friends are bullying him and they are making fun of him. For example, he wants real friends, and he wants people to accept him for who he is. He wants to be included in the society and in class, to be like others, to have normal relationships, you know. So he's feeling different. People are making him feeling different. That's what we can analyze so far from what we've read. And then after the bad reports coming from school and him personally moaning, complaining about wanting to die, so he's losing hope, he's being hopeless clearly, and how everybody hated him, that's how he felt. His parents began looking for help. They thought maybe there is a need for a serious help. I'm going to continue reading now. That's when the testing started. So the person, a student, for example, needs an official test called diagnosis from a person who's specialized in this, like a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So that's what they mean with the tests, not regular tests that you students take. So the school tested me, the child guidance center tested me, and the private psychiatrist tested me. The worst thing I had to do in 5th and 6th grades was to go to a special education class in another school in our town. So clearly he got the tests and he went to a school for students with a special education, in which there is a special curriculum for them, special lessons, special tests, special exercises for their abilities and for their needs. And that's what every student with a learning difficulty or mainly learning disability needs. To be in a school, in an environment that's only suited for him or her. So now he's expressing his experience going to this special school. The worst thing I had to do in 5th and 6th grades was go to a special education class in another school in our town. A bus picked me up, and I didn't like that at all. The bus also picked up emotionally disturbed kids and retarded kids. It was like going to a school for the retarded. I was always worried that someone I knew would see me on that bus. It was a relief to go to the regular junior high school. He was relieved with all the awful experiences there. It was still a relief to be in the regular junior high school than to be, he was feeling embarrassed from being in that school special education class. Paragraph 6. Life began to change a little for me. There's a little hope here after attending that school, and then because I began to feel better about myself. So that school helped him feel better because it was adapted for him. I found out that the teachers cared for him because these are special educators for him specially. They had meetings about me. So he's talking about himself, me, remember the pronoun, first person pronoun. So first person point of view is being used here. And I worked harder for them for a while. So he got motivated. I've told the story because maybe some teacher will read it and go easy on a kid in the classroom who has what I've got, which is dyslexia. Or maybe some parent will stop nagging his kid and stop calling him lazy. Maybe he's not lazy or dumb. Maybe he just can't read and doesn't know what's wrong. Maybe he's scared as I was. So he was scared, but now he's having hope. As you can see in front of you, the letters, how they are chunked and then joined, and how they are also used in colors and manipulatives, and a totally different way. The letters, the size of the letters, the colors, you know. So a totally different way in displaying these letters and helping that student to read. Why? Because this is a special way to help the student specifically to read. Now, before we continue and discuss the comprehension questions, I want to tell you this. What's dyslexia? What's the cause for dyslexia? Science have found no correct answer or no valid answer. It's mostly genetic. A person gets born with dyslexia. It's mainly a mental illness in the brain. It's a learning disability, not a mental illness. However, the problem is with the brain itself. So you and me and every person who doesn't have dyslexia would be looking at this word here, for example, and say mean, M-E-A-N, mean. However, a student with dyslexia would see the letters flipped, for example, moving, or would see another order of letters and read a whole different word. So where's the problem mainly? The student can see the letters, which means it's not a problem in the eyesight, you know? Your eye, your receptors in the eye takes this information. However, this information is being sent to your brain. In your brain, it's being analyzed. So the way that student's brain analyzes the information, reads this information is different from the way our brain reads it. So as if our computers, we're reading things differently. So you have the same input, the same letters, the same order, but that person gets it differently. That's why no matter how much you show him this word, he will read it the same way he's seeing it, which is not the way you are seeing it. Okay, and that's why these students need special schools, special curriculums, okay, and a special teacher focusing on that student and helping that student, because other way students with with learning disabilities wouldn't improve, because nothing is being directly focused on his needs and abilities. Okay, now we're starting with the comprehension questions. As always, we cannot solve comprehension questions without understanding the text. So if it wasn't clear, reread it again and again until you understand everything. Starting with question number 1. Again, also using your own words, no copying and pasting from the text, and a complete answer. What does the speaker mean in the first sentence of paragraph 2? From maybe someone till new to me. So let's go back to paragraph 2. So paragraph 2, until new to me. Maybe someone like me was a new thing for that teacher, but she wasn't new to me. What does this sentence mean? Understand the meaning of the sentence and say its meaning in your own words, as if you're paraphrasing. Maybe someone like me was a new thing for that teacher. So maybe that teacher is having to deal with a case like his case, dyslexic, or a student with dyslexia for the first time. However, he had several experiences with many teachers treating him this way, okay, and having a conflict with him on reading. That's one way of saying it. So you write your own answer and you can check the answer key at the end. Question number 2, what type of emotions or feelings is expressed by the speaker throughout the text? And explain. We can see at the beginning, he was really hopeless, pessimistic, the way he was feeling, depressed, he had thoughts of dying, and at the end, he had hope. That's me saying the answer in my own words based on understanding the text. That's how you need to answer. Understand the text, the emotions of that author, who's the writer, who's the person in this story, and write it in your own words, then check your answer at the end. Question number 3. How do you describe the narrator's peers? Peers are his not mainly friends, however, those kids same age of his in his school are called the peers, like your classmates are your peers. So how do you describe the narrator's peers? How do they treat him? You know, they used to make fun of him, bully him, whatever. So write your own answer and explain. Explain why you're describing them this way and get evidence from the text to support your description. Question number 4. How did you feel when you read in paragraph 3, on my birthday, until like me? He said he once on his birthday, he never wished to be able to read. However, he wished for real friends, to be like others. So how did you feel? Because there's what's called emotional intelligence. If you have watched the other optional videos, you would get introduced to that. So emotional intelligence is, first of all, understanding your own feelings, understanding how others feel, and being able to empathize with others and share their feelings, feel what they feel. So that's the main question here. When he said, I want real friends, how do you feel? Do you feel him? Do you feel what he's feeling, being abandoned by society, being treated as a person who's different, as if telling him, you do not fit in this group, you are different, we do not accept you, we are normal, you're abnormal. That's how they're making him feel. So were you able to feel him? Yes or no? How did you feel? Explain your feelings. So if you say, I feel blah, 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 because of this and this, okay? Now, question number 5. Contrast the speaker's feeling as depicted in paragraph 5 and 6 and justify your answer. So contrast his feelings in paragraph 5 to his feelings in paragraph 6. Remember, contrasting, showing differences, comparison, showing similarities. So show the difference between the way he felt in paragraph 5 and the way he felt in paragraph 6. So he was feeling in one way, paragraph 5, and in another way, paragraph 6. Here, read it, reread it, use the strategy of rereading, reread it again. He was feeling that he was worried, first of all, feeling of worry, someone would see him there. He was also feeling embarrassed of going to that school. And then after some time, he felt some hope. He felt relieved. He felt he's being taken care of by the teachers, and he started working harder. So there's a contrasting feeling here. So that's what you need to say, how he felt here and how he felt here. That's how we answer. Now moving to question number 6. If you were in the substitute teacher's role, how would you behave? What would your response be? Would you force that student to read, or ask that student, why don't you want to read? Try to assess him in a different setting, not embarrass him in front of the students, and not, for example, make a fuss of it and do that conflict, okay? So what would you do? What I just said are all possible answers, correct answers. What would you personally do? This is a personal opinion, and for sure you illustrate why you would do that. Explain your answer. Question number 7, scan paragraph 4 to pick out a sentence that includes a cause-effect relationship. That's a reading comprehension skill that we learned at the beginning of the year. We're still practicing and applying this skill in several worksheets and reading lessons. And here we do that again. Cause-effect relationship in paragraph 4. So we go to paragraph 4. With bad reports coming from school and with moaning about wanting to die and how everybody hated me, my parents began looking for help. Okay, so they began looking for help. That's the effect. Because of what? Because the reports, because of the moaning and of wanting to die, and how everyone hated him. The effect was getting help and getting tested. That's the cause-effect relationship. Sometimes cause-effect relationship wouldn't be stated directly, that because or so you might not find these signals that tell you this is a cause-effect relationship. You need to comprehend, and that's what we're learning. Reading and comprehension. Comprehend what you're reading to tell, is this being caused by this? Is this an effect to this? So did you ask yourself a question, for example, here, did they get help in a case where that student wasn't having these feelings, or in a case where there were good reports? No, they wouldn't, unless the reports, the negative reports from the school were sent and the way he was feeling, the parents wouldn't have gotten to get help. Okay. Now, question number 8. In your opinion, why is sharing such experiences beneficial? So they're already telling you it's beneficial to share your experience. For example, telling, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. This is my story. I have this disability, learning disability, for example. So sharing this experience with others, how is it beneficial to express your feelings? So they're already telling you it's better to express your feelings. It's better not to hold on to your feelings and keep that way of thoughts and to be alienated from society and do not accept yourself. No, accept yourself, deal with it, and let the world know. They need to accept you. Also refer to the video as an introduction. That's an introduction to this lecture. And also find out how it was really helpful for that girl to share her own experience and then answer your question. Part B, skim paragraphs 4 and 3 or 3 and 4 to pick out the various effects of dyslexia, also cause effects. So the cause is dyslexia. What is it leading to? What is it causing? The effects of dyslexia from both paragraphs 3 and 4. So I refer to them to find the answer. Part C, the sentences below misinterpret some information in the lesson. So the information is present in the lesson. Correctly here, it's incorrect. I refer to the lesson to correct it. For example, we infer that the speaker was dumb and unable to read. The parents looked for the help of the speaker from the very beginning. All the teachers were discouraging the speaker, and the speaker asks only the teachers to be taught and strict with tough and strict with students who have dyslexia. Are these information correct? No, I'm already telling you they are not correct. You go to the text to find the correct answer. As simple as that. This is a question that you always get in reading lessons, and that we also need to know how to do it because we get it also in our tests. Part D, complete the following clauses with some information from the above text. You have a clause group set of words. You need to complete it to make a complete sentence and a complete thought. From where do you get these information? From the text. Part E, what do the pronouns that are bold typed in the text refer to? So her in paragraph 1, you in paragraph 2, they in paragraph 3, and he in paragraph 6 for sure. You pause this video, you go to the reading, and you solve this on your own. Similarly, for question part F, skim the indicated paragraphs to replace the indicated paragraphs here to indicate the meaning or to replace the underlined words with its synonym. So a word that has a similar meaning, which means go to paragraph 1, look for a word that has a similar meaning to this word, which is alternate, and write this sentence again by changing this word and writing a synonym. And that's what we do in a test, also reading comprehension test. Similarly here, you go to paragraph 3 and for the rest. So here's the answer key. For question 1, the speaker means in the first sentence of paragraph 2 that his situation was new for the teacher, as I said, and as she didn't know about his disability. It was the first time the teacher deals with a student with dyslexia, but he is used to that. He's used to facing the same situation with other teachers. The same, as I said, just write it in your own words, as you can see in front of you. Question number 2, throughout the text, they ask you about his feelings. Throughout the text, the writer expresses feelings of misery, hopelessness, pessimism due to his disability. Yet at the end of the text, so that way you answer in a test, complete answer. At the majority of the text, he was feeling hopeless, pessimist. Until the end, in paragraph 6, he expressed feelings of hope. That's a complete answer of the feelings in the whole text. Question 3, they are mean and inconsiderate, his peers, since they treated him as dumb and mad, and they made fun of him every chance they got. Question 4, I got a lump in my throat. That's supposedly an answer for how you felt when he said, I want real friends. So you can say, for example, I got lump in my throat and I could hardly swallow myself since I pitied this poor boy for his suffering. So you're feeling how he's feeling. You could have for sure another answer that for sure needs to be logical and makes sense. That's related to this context. Question 5 in paragraph 5, the narrator was pessimist and worried, as we said, while going to the school of retarded kids, or let's say students with special needs. And in paragraph 3, which is the opposite because we're contrasting here, it displayed optimism due to the care shown by the teachers. Now, question 6, the answer vary for the effects of dyslexia, giving him more time, another chance, supporting, this question 6, they're asking you if you were a teacher, how do you deal with this case? So you can say giving him more time to read, give him another chance, support him, encourage him, show concern and care, never get mad, but discuss the problem with the boy, as I said. So all these are possible answers. Again, answers based on the text, logical answers, okay? Question 7, with the bad reports, moaning about wanting to die and how everybody hated him, his parents began looking for help. That's the cause-effect relationship, which we already talked about. Question 8, kids with disabilities might be encouraged. Teachers might read it and learn from it to go easy on a kid in her classroom. And parents would stop nagging kids with disabilities and stop calling them lazy. Part B, feeling embarrassed and dumb, feeling lonely, having no friends, moaning and wanting to die as being hated by everybody. For sure, you refer to the questions and refer these answers to them. And also compare these answers to your own answers and learn from your mistakes if you have any mistake. And the other part C, we infer that the speaker had dyslexia. The parents looked for the help of the speaker after a situation got worse. Some teachers were discouraging the speaker, and the speaker asks only the teachers to be caring and understanding. Part D, would go easy on him. He wanted friends, and here in this part we needed to complete the phrase, okay? Part E, refer to the vocabulary words, so substitute, teacher, and the other one refers to the reader or any person. Oh no, this question is about the pronoun-noun agreement, pronoun reference, sorry. So the first pronoun refers to a substitute teacher, the second refers to the reader or the person who's reading this text, the audience. The third one refers to the kids, and the fourth one to the kid with dyslexia specifically. Now part F are the vocabulary words, which you find a synonym for them from the text, from the specified paragraph. So the first one is substitute, to replace. Second one is embarrassing. Third is dumb. Fourth is moaning. And the last is nagging. Now, after reading the text, use the question to discuss with a partner some of the key features of a personal narrative. Reflect. Who tells the story? A person, a child who has dyslexia. What personal feelings does the writer express about his or her own experience? What descriptive details does the writer provide? And how does the writer begin his or her story? Remember, these are questions on the features of the narrative, of the personal narrative. Go back to the beginning of the lecture to revise the features of the personal narrative. These are possible questions about the genre. Clear? Now, after that, we have a speaking situation and we have a writing situation. Now, we're not going to worry about that for now. When we have a speaking assessment, I will let you know, and specifically what you're going to prepare. Similarly for the writing. Now, after this lesson, we're going to start with a new writing, which is narrative writing. So that's also when we will get to this. So thank you for watching. I hope that everything was clear. I hope that you learned a lesson that if you meet any person with a learning disability or a special need, do not treat them differently. They are humans, they are like us, and try to feel the way they feel. Try to put yourself in their shoes and be in their place. So thank you for watching. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask me following my email. Bye and have a nice day.